about to get underway. The starting lineups have been introduced to the crowd, and before we give them to you, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Is the DCH starting lineup for the Ole Miss Rebels, the visitors for today's ball game. The starters are presented by DCH Health System. DCH Health System has been providing quality and compassionate health care in West Alabama for nearly 100 years. DCH is a champion for your health and proud supporters of the Crimson Tide. Ole Miss is 21-16 overall, 3-10 in SEC play, now 9-4 in true road games. They're on a one-game losing streak after yesterday's 4-0 Alabama win, and they have lost 8 out of their last 9. Jayla Lassiter, the center fielder, will lead things off. She steps in against Jocelyn Brisky and takes the first pitch for a called strike one. Jaden Pone, the left fielder, bats second. Lexi Brady catching, batting third. Ainsley Furbush, the right fielder, batting fourth. Paige Smith, first base, batting fifth. Annie Orman, designated player, batting sixth. Delaney Rummel, the third baseman, bats seventh. The 0-1 is in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Angelina DeLeon, the second baseman, bats eighth. And Ryan Starr, the shortstop, will bat ninth. And they'll face in the circle Jocelyn Brisky, the right-handed freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. Brisky on the year with a 2.75 ERA and a 5-1 record. This is her 12th appearance. That one's fouled back, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fifth start, she has 1 complete game. She's pitched 40 2/3 innings, 35 hits, 19 runs, 16 have been earned. She's walked 15, struck out 43. Opponents batting .223 against Brisky. As I bring in my broadcast partner, Gray Robertson.
Hello, Tom.
Great job interviewing Coach Murph in the pregame. The 1-2 is a ground ball on 2 hops to Cahalan at short. The throw is in time for out number 1, and that's a big out. Jayla Lassiter is definitely the most consistent batter in this Ole Miss lineup, and to get her in the first inning, big time.
Yeah, and because of her speed, Kinley Cahalan kind of did have to rush there, but fielded that nicely off the short hop, made a really good throw, and actually got her out by quite a bit. I've got some more on Brisky, but I'll let you introduce the next hitter.
Jaden Pone steps in, left-handed hitting. The first pitch is a little low for ball 1.
So Brisky, I feel like, is really the closest she's been to where she was before the injury that happened in week 2, and I think today is such a great opportunity for her in her first career SEC start to kind of show she should be that game 2 starter.
1-0. Called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on Pone.
And the difference, I think, is going to be all about the spin. And Coach Murphy talked about it. You know, when her ball moves, it really moves. But the rise ball has been potent. And then if her changeup can be located well, that'll be the difference here today.
The 1-1 to Pone. Slapped, and that's going to be foul down the left field line as our third base umpire, Dave Reneker, had to limbo out of the way of it. Our umpires for today's ball game are Philip Friels behind home plate, Ronald White at first, and Dave Reneker at third. Defensively for the Tide, Jenna Johnson in left, White in center, Lauren Johnson in right. Dowling at third, Cahalan at short, Hevlin at second, Dukeshire at first. The 1-2, slap foul. Valentine catching, Brisky pitching, and Clark is the DP. First inning is presented by Barclay GMC of Tuscaloosa. For over 42 years, Barclay makes it easy. Online at barclaygmc.com. The 1-2 pitch is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Pone, who is batting .343, 37 of 108, 21 runs scored, 4 doubles, and 11 RBIs, moving up in the order from 8 to 2 here today.
Yeah, it was 1 for 3 last night.
2-2. Low and inside, counts full, 3-2.
And has mainly been kind of back-to-back with Lassiter, but I think that 0 for 4 night from Paige Smith in the 2 spot kind of forced Jamie Traxel to make that move. Longwood transfer was Big South Player of the Year. He's got a lot of speed.
Payoff pitch. High chopper up the middle. Hevlin has it. The throw is not going to be in time to get her. And a well-placed slap by Pone, the infield single, is the first base runner of the game for the Rebels.
That's a great play by Callie Hevlin, who did everything right there. Fielded it cleanly. It was very similar, actually, to the play last night that Pone reached on that was ruled an error. But unfortunately, even with a great throw, Pone's speed just a bit too much.
That brings up Lexi Brady. First pitch to the right-handed hitting catcher is right in there for a called strike. Brady batting .273, 27 of 99, 25 runs scored, a double, a triple, leads the team with 11 homers and 30 runs driven in.
Last night was okay, 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout.
The 0-1.
Ooh,
fouled that one off. We got a piece of at least Phillip Freels, if not everybody, behind home plate. Count moves 0-2.
The thing about Lexi Brady, though, is the strikeout. She struck out 28 times this season and 18 times against ranked teams.
The 0-2 pitch is a little high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Alabama leads the all-time series 66-7 over Ole Miss after yesterday's 4-0 Bama victory.
Is that good?
That's pretty good
Okay.
if you're Alabama.
Yeah, well.
The 1-2 pitch. Ooh, a little high. Didn't drop in time. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here in Tuscaloosa, the Tide has won 5 in a row and leads the all-time series 34-2. Two pitch to Brady. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got her with her eyes, and there's 2 gone.
It's the rise ball for me, and it was actually a fairly good setup pitch with that changeup. It was supposed to be a little bit lower, the change was, but it ends up working because that one keeps going, and I think Brady had risen her eyes up just enough looking for something a little more elevated and instead swung at something even higher.
That brings up Ansley Furbush. First pitch. Right in there for a call strike. In regular season conference games, Bama holds a 65-6 advantage over Ole Miss. The Rebels have only defeated Alabama in a 3-game series once, and that was in Oxford back in 2017.
Remember that?
The 0-1 fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes. Speaking of weird games.
Oh, my gosh. My first year with you, and I think Saturday or Sunday maybe, for whatever reason, there was a doubleheader. I think weather.
Yeah.
And then it was a Sunday night game that went off the rails.
The 0-2 pitch. Ooh, just misses a touch outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was, of course, the series where Bailey Hemphill hit a home run and missed home plate, and the rule was not applied correctly, and she was called out. The 1-2 pitch is high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And other weird things happened. It was just crazy.
And just think, things have been totally normal since we called those games
of course,
back
yes.
in 2017.
Here comes a 2-2 from Brisky. Is fouled away. We'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. On Furbush, who's batting .352, 32 of 91, 6 runs scored, 5 doubles, 3 homers, and 21 runs driven in. Furbush was the losing pitcher yesterday and also flew out to end the ball game with the bases loaded in the 7th.
Struck out twice as well.
2-2. Fouled back again on the rise.
You can see that she right now is in swing or die mode. She's chasing these rise balls. I think if Brisky can locate a changeup low and away, that you can probably fool her.
Another 2-2. I think that's what it was, but it was a little outside, and the count's full, 3-2. So far, Phillip Freels not giving the outside corner against the righties. Now the payoff pitch to Furbush. Low and inside for ball 4. So Ole Miss now with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Pone on second, Furbush on first. And Paige Smith will be the batter.
And this was a story last night. I know you talked about it. We talked about it next door. Ole Miss had a runner in scoring position in 6 of the 7 innings, but unable to get the big hit. Rebels were 0 for 8 RISP. Got to keep that trend going.
First pitch to Smith is popped up on the infield. Jammed her. The catch is made by Cahalan, and that'll do it for the Rebels here in the first inning.
Interesting to see Paige Smith attacking early in the count. I thought the Ole Miss batters had done a pretty nice job in this first inning, kind of working the counts, making Brisky have to throw a lot of pitches, but that is a quiet out for the Rebels, and a great job by Brisky running that high rise ball in on the hands to get the pop out.
For the Rebels in the first, no runs on a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We played a half inning. Ole Miss 0, Alabama coming to bat here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We move to the home half of the first inning. No score between Ole Miss and Alabama. Here's the DCH starting lineup for the 14th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. The starters are presented by DCH Health System. DCH Health System has been providing quality and compassionate health care in West Alabama for nearly 100 years. DCH is a champion for your health and proud supporters of the Crimson Tide. Bama is 27-8 overall, 4-6 in SEC play. They're 14-4 here at the Rhodes House this year after yesterday's 4-0 win against Ole Miss for Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. The starting lineup looks like this. Leading off, playing center field, is Kristen White. Kinley Cahalan, shortstop, bats second. Jenna Johnson, left field, batting third. Callie Hevlin, the second baseman, will bat fourth. Batting fifth is Bailey Dowling, the third baseman. They're facing McKenna Clethemers. Wow. Here comes the first pitch.
Who?
The backstop for strike one. Clethermus.
Yes.
I've never said it wrong.
You haven't.
That's the first time.
And then
I'm on
the lights
air,
come on.
And here we go. Always been microphone shy. People have always told me.
You're 10 years sitting in this room.
Clethermus with the pitch. The 1-0 to Kristen White. Low, 2 balls and no strikes. Abby Dukester, the first baseman, batting sixth. Batting seventh is Kendall Clark, the designated player. Lauren Johnson, the right fielder, batting eighth. And Riley Valentine catching, batting ninth. McKenna Clethurmus, the right-handed senior from Wordsville, Missouri, the transfer from Oregon, in the circle for the Rebels.
Give you a scouting report in just a moment.
The 2-0 is bunted, perfectly placed down the third base line. The throw's not going to be in time. And the infield single on the bunt from Kristen White gets things started.
And I'm looking, no out-of-the-box call.
Yep.
There we go, K-Dub. Beautiful bunt laid down on an off-speed pitch from Clethurmus. It was right down the heart. Nothing that Rummel coming in from third could do, and that's just speed, baby. I mean, that's just wonderful stuff from Kristen White, and that's how you start a game.
As Kinley Cahalan steps in. First pitch is a called strike, 0-1. Clethurmus on the year with a 2.64 ERA and a 10-4 mark. She has making her 19th appearance, 15th start. She has 4 complete games, 74 and a third innings pitched, 58 hits, 36 runs, 28 have been earned. Walked 44, struck out 81. Opponents batting 212 against her as that one comes in low to Cahalan, 1-1.
And Alabama's seen her before last year. She went 5 innings, 11 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 3 Ks. She'll throw upper 60s, can work both up and down, and has a nice off speed, but really it's that rise ball that typically is her go-to in big situations.
The 1-1. Little outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Defensively for the Rebels, Pone is in left, Lassiter in center, Furbush in right, Rummel at third, Starr at short, DeLeon at second, Smith at first, Brady behind the plate, Clethurmus pitching, and Orman the DP. (2-1) on a hit and run. That's going to be a ground ball through for a base hit into right field. White round second. She'll stand on third with a hit and run to perfection. Alabama has runners on the corners with nobody out here in the first.
Yeah, not only was that called to perfection and executed well, but also the pitch location helped. That was an inside pitch to Kinley Cahalan, so she was able to pull it down the right side. That was exactly how you draw that up, and now Alabama very much in business here in the first, and we've seen the Tide have a lot of success when they score in the first inning, and I think knowing that, out comes Jamie Traxel to talk with Clethurmus and the entire infield.
The first inning is presented by Barclay GMC of Tuscaloosa. For over 42 years, Barclay makes it easy online at barclaygmc.com.
And to put the stat on it, Alabama 13-0 this year when scoring in the first inning, and they've outscored opponents 30-4 in this frame. On the other side, Ole Miss only outscoring opponents 22-20.
So a complete infield discussion here with Jamie Traxel discussing things as Jenna Johnson is about to step in, the fifth-year senior, batting .262. 21 of 80, 29 runs scored with 3 doubles, 5 homers, and 26 runs driven in on the year for Jenna. And I think moving her down to the 3-hole became a necessity. One of the reasons with Marley Giles getting hurt, you had to have her RBI producing itself there.
Yeah, she was kind of doing this thing where the OBP was going down, but the RBIs were going up, and she was turning into not a great leadoff option, which is why we talked on the podcast about Kristen White moving up. So with Marley Giles, unfortunately, being out, that does kind of open up a slot in the 3-4 area of a lineup, and I think Jenna Johnson fits in perfectly there, especially considering her past success against Ole Miss. Big moment here early in this game for both sides.
So Johnson steps in. And here comes the first pitch from Cleathermos. Low for ball 1. Today's weather and field condition report brought to you by the Cook Museum of Natural Science. Discover something amazing at the Cook Museum of Natural Science in downtown Decatur, Alabama. For more information, visit cookmuseum.org.
Squirrel.
It's true. Forgot about that.
You're welcome. Happy to be back.
The 1-0. Oh, that came in and that hit her. So that one got her very close to where her little sister took one yesterday, but luckily not right on the bone, so Jenna's okay. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out for the Crimson Tide here in the first.
Yeah, this is a screwball that just gets away from Cleathermos, and here we go. Immediately, game 2, a bases loaded situation with nobody out.
Callie Hevlin steps in, and the first pitch. Low for ball 1. Hevlin batting .260, 25 of 96, 14 runs scored with 4 doubles, a triple, 5 homers, and 18 RBIs on the season.
Last night, tough night, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, but is hitting .400 this year with the bases loaded.
The 1-0. Called strike on the inside corner, 1-1.
And this is just the second chance for Hevlin in conference play with the bases loaded, 0 for 1. Again, you're looking for something productive, even if it's an out. Got to get a run across here in this first inning.
The 1-1 pitch. Hevlin with a blooper to shallow right. That's going to fall for a base hit. Runners move up 60 feet, and that's an RBI single for Callie Hevlin, and the Crimson Tide take the 1-0 lead here in the home half of the first.
Boy, Ole Miss has got to be saying, dadgummit, what do we have to do? Because that's a good pitch by Cleathermos. It's a screwball in the inner half. Hevlin is very much jammed, but is able to get it out shy of Furbush and right. And all the runners did a really good job of their positioning when they were holding to see if the catch was made, to where there was no possibility of anyone getting caught off guard on the base paths. And Callie Hevlin comes through with the bases loaded.
And Bailey Dowling steps in. Base is still loaded. Still nobody out. 1-0 Crimson Tide. And the first pitch is low and away for ball 1. 67 degrees at first pitch under partly cloudy skies. Not a whole lot of wind, but what wind there is blowing out to right field.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah. Just a normal day. Beautiful.
Regular, what could go wrong?
Yes. The 1-0. Dowling with a fly ball to deep left. That one is off the wall, foul. And Bailey knows she just missed that one, a touch out in front on what would have been maybe another double. But instead, it's a foul ball, 1 ball, 1 strike on Dowling.
Just a really loud out, as Bailey Dowling is wont to do. Got a pretty meaty rise ball. The difference was Cleathermos throws quote-unquote upper 60s. It's really about 65, 66. If that is 68, that might be a grand slam, but unfortunately just a hair foul.
Dowling on the year, batting .274, 23 of 84, 9 runs scored with 3 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, and 13 RBIs. Had that triple yesterday. Second of her career. The 1-1. Called strike on the outside corner, 1-2.
Yeah, that first triple came in 2022 against Evansville. And I know I was calling that game. I have no recollection of it. I have no idea. I'm sure it was great.
I can't tell you most of the things that happened yesterday, 2022.
Who's pitching?
I don't know. The 1-2 fouled away. We'll do it again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 200 down the lines, 220 to straightaway center field here at the Rhodes House. 6-foot wall all the way around in the outfield. And as Coach Murphy mentioned in our pregame interview, really good crowd for what is hopefully a historic day in Alabama athletics. The 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, regardless of the outcome, it's an historic day for Alabama athletics.
Absolutely. I mean, And a busy day, too. I mean, we're tracking gymnastics. Baseball was in action. It didn't go well, but they were playing. Football at a scrimmage. People were parking on my lawn.
The 2-2. Dowling with a ground ball to third. They'll throw home to get one. They tried to get the double play, but Dowling beats it out. So there's one away now. Base is still loaded.
Off-speed pitch kind of high and away that was not hit fairly well, and I think because of that, no chance of a double play, thank goodness, but an unproductive out with the bases loaded.
Now Abby Duchscher steps in. One out, bases loaded. Bama leads at 1-0 here in the bottom of the first, trying to put up a crooked number in the home half. First pitch. In there for a called strike on Duchscher, who's batting .307, 31 and 101, 11 runs scored, 5 doubles, 6 homers, and 26 runs driven in.
A big 1 for 2 last night, to kind of get the 0 for streak off her back.
The 0-1. Line to right, and that's going to be just foul down the right field line. And Alabama now has just missed 2 bases clearing doubles here with foul balls. One by Dowling, one by Duchscher. Now the count's 0-2.
And I love that Abby Duchscher gets this moment right here because she's had a lot of these in conference play and against Virginia Tech as well. And they've all come in the 7th. So to kind of feel that pressure here super early, something that could help her grow, especially if she comes through.
Lee Thermos looks in, the 0-2. High and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Infield is still playing in. Worked out for him last at-bat. We'll see what Duchscher can do with it. The 1-2 pitch. Low and inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There is some action in the Ole Miss pin. I believe that is Brianna Lopez, the Hawaii transfer.
The 2-2 to Duchscher. Ground ball, and that's going to stay fair and get thrown away by the first baseman. 2 runs will come in to score. Duchscher will take second.
Oh, wow.
Smith with just a misplay all the way around. By the time it got to her, if they were going to wait for it, they should have seen if it would have rolled foul because there wasn't going to be a chance really to get anybody unless you're going to pick it up and just tag Duchscher.
Well, and the other part of it, Philip Friels had to come up to see if it was going foul, and because of that, he's a little bit in the way. So you've got a lot of traffic with Friels behind the plate, with the catcher Brady, and then with the runner coming home, and all of that just led to mass chaos that puts up a 3 spot here in this inning.
So 3-0 Alabama. Runners on second and third for Kendall Clark. First pitch. A little bit low for ball 1. We're seeing what the final scoring decision is going to be for that. I think it would be fielder's choice, 2-base error on the throw. But we'll see. The 1-0. Low again, 2 balls and no strikes on Clark.
And, I saw Smith looking at a dugout saying, I didn't know what to do. Well, unfortunately, there's really nothing you can do. The umpire's part of the field of play. So it's just one of those weird situations that Alabama gets a break on.
2-0 to Clark is past Brady, but not far enough for Dowling to be able to get there. Count moves to 3-0 on Clark.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
It is an RBI fielder's choice for Duchscher and a throwing error by Smith.
Yep. The 3-0 is in there for a strike, 3-1. I thinking about it, I agree with that scoring decision because I think Jenna was going to be safe regardless.
Right.
Even a perfect throw, Jenna was going to beat it.
Even without Philip Friels there.
Yes. The 3-1 is too far inside for ball 4, and the bases are loaded once again here. Just 1 out. Bama's up 3-0.
Yeah, I think if I'm Ole Miss, I have to make a change here. This has the possibility of getting sideways immediately, And that's what we're going to see here in the first inning.
So Jamie Traxel comes out, and looks like we are going to see a change in the circle. We'll tell you about the new Ole Miss pitcher when we get back. There's one out here in the first inning. Alabama leads at 3-0. Base is still loaded. Looking for more here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. With this call to the bullpen, we remind all Crimson Tide fans to stay up to date with all recommended vaccinations. Flu season is here, and COVID-19 continues to affect our community, so don't wait. Vaccinate. Jamie Traxel has to go to the bullpen here in the first inning. Alabama with a 3-0 lead with the bases still loaded, one out. Looking for more. McKinley Thermos will give way to the new pitcher, Brianna Lopez.
Yeah, two-time Big West selection, the transfer from Hawaii, who on the year is sporting a 3.28 ERA, a 2-3 record. This is her 16th appearance. She only has one start, so typically a reliever. 36 1/3 innings pitched, 33 hits, 20 runs, 17 earned, 34 walks, 39 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .254 against Lopez, who will throw lower 60s, so that's the biggest change. She's going to throw a pretty solid changeup and kind of will do that thing all lefties do, which is that curve, trying to run that in on the hands of the righties.
Lauren Johnson will be the first to face her. The first pitch is a little outside and low for ball one. Lauren Johnson on the year, batting .326, 14-43 with 13 runs scored, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs. Had to leave yesterday's game after taking a pitch off the knee, but is okay. And we're back in the lineup here today. The 1-0 will drop in for a called strike, 1-1.
There's that changeup I was talking about from Lopez. That's her best pitch. But Lauren Johnson, 1 for 2 on the year with the bases loaded. Both those chances have been in conference play. Came through in Kentucky, game 2 of that series. Chance to really put this one out of reach early.
Timeout called. We get a reset the pitch clock. Thermos went a third of an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, no strikeouts, 28 pitches, 13 strikes, responsible for all the runners on base. And that one drops in too low, 2-1. And that run can become earned depending on what else happens here the rest of this inning.
Like maybe something to the people?
Yeah, that would work.
That would do it?
For me. The 2-1 is high, 3 balls and 1 strike, and Lauren thought she had drawn the walk. We got to go 4.
She played that so cool,
like,
though. She goes, here's the just
here
kidding.
Yes.
I'm just hopping around.
I did it on purpose.
Part of the plan.
The 3-1. Johnson lines this one foul down the third base line, and the count moves to 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, bases loaded. Bama trying to add to their 3-0 lead here in the home half of the first. And this inning has kind of been a microcosm of the season for Ole Miss.
Yeah. Bad luck, miscues.
Payoff pitch. Johnson fouls that one away over the first base dugout. We'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
But yeah, if you can find a gap here, whether it be Johnson or Valentine who's on deck, I mean, talk about comfort for Jocelyn Brisky. You can really make her feel good with a hit.
Now the 3-2 is in the dirt for ball 4. And that's going to be an RBI walk for Lauren Johnson, and it's 4-0 Crimson Tide.
That's been an issue for Lopez against ranked teams this year. She's thrown 18 2/3 innings, 24 walks to 17 strikeouts, and that looked like it was supposed to be a changeup that she just held on to a bit too long, and just all around a little wonky. Control has been her biggest problem, and a good job by Johnson being pretty patient that at bat.
Now the 9th batter of the inning is Riley Valentine. First pitch. And their first strike, 0-1. Valentine batting .213, 10 of 47 with 15 runs scored, 2 homers and 11 RBIs. One of those homers, a grand slam.
0 for 2 last night.
The 0-1. Backdoored in for a called strike, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch.
Ooh.
Just missed a little outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, boy.
Was worried. After the first 2 calls, was worried about that one, but
I mean, that's a
Lopez
really
good
0-2 changeup. But Brisky threw basically that exact same pitch and didn't get the call. So consistency so far from Friels.
The 1-2. Valentine holds off on the rise. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One out. Base is still loaded. Bama leads at 4-0. The 2-2. Valentine spoils that one foul, and we'll do it again, 2-2.
I mean, this is right now a great test for Alabama to truly go for the kill shot. You know, if you, like I've said, and the RBI walk was great, but if you get a gapper, like this game is basically over.
Yeah.
4-0 is still, Ole Miss still thinks they've got a shot. But if you add 3 more here in this inning.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Valentine down on strikes on the off speed, and there's 2 gone.
That's just smart pitch calling by Ole Miss. Valentine never had a beat on that changeup the entire at-bat, outside of the one that she, barely touched to foul off. That was just good recognition by the Ole Miss pitching staff and a good call.
And now Kristen White is due up, but we're going to see a pinch hitter, and KJ Haney steps to the plate. Haney on the years, 0 for 10, has an RBI with a walk and 5 strikeouts. RBI cam on a sacrifice fly. Steps in here with the bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
Be really good for KJ to get a hit here just to feel that confidence, because you're probably going to need her at some point.
That one's too high. 2 balls and no strikes on it.
But another reason why KJ Haney makes a lot of sense is because of that eye. You know, I mentioned during the Lauren Johnson at-bat, Lopez's control has been her biggest issue. Haney's probably not going to chase all that much.
The 2-0. Too high again. 3 balls and no strikes. Crowd to their feet here at the Rhodes House.
At the urging of Patrick Murphy, he tried on the 2-0, and a few people got up, and then he said, no, seriously, I wasn't kidding. Please stand.
Please clap. The 3-0. That one's going to be a called strike. On the outside corner, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. Haney with a fly ball to deep left, but that's going to stay in the ballpark. The catch is made by Pone for out number 3 to retire the side, and Haney just got that one off the end of the bat just a touch.
Yeah, she was fairly on time, but just didn't hit it square on that changeup, which is actually pretty good recognition to make the adjustment on that. You know, you miss a chance to add some more, but at the same time, that's a heck of a first inning to really set the tone here today.
For the Crimson Tide in the first, 4 runs on 3 hits. There was 1 error and 3 runners left on base. We played an inning. It's Alabama 4, Ole Miss nothing here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from their field. Second inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. We move to the top of the second inning. Alabama put up a 4 spot in the home half of the first. It's 4-0 Crimson Tide. Due up for the Rebels here in the second. Orman, Rummel, and DeLeon. 6, 7, 8 against Jocelyn Brisky in the circle for the Crimson Tide. Annie Orman will lead things off, the designated player. Steps in, and here comes the first pitch. A little inside for ball 1. Orman batting .293, 12 of 41, 7 runs scored with 4 doubles, a home run, and 10 RBIs. Appeared as a pinch hitter yesterday and drew a walk. The 1-0. Called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. All 4 runs ended up being earned for Alabama in the home half of the first. All charged to Clee Thermos. Is that pitch a little low, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is a blooper that's going to get over Hevlin's head into right field for a base hit. And that's the second hit of the ball game for the Rebels, and it leads off the second inning. Similar to the Callie Hevlin base hit in the bottom of the first.
I was thinking exactly that. Had the same ball flight. Hevlin kind of got a slow-ish jump on that. I'm not sure would have made a difference, but Ole Miss with the leadoff on as they try and answer.
Delaney Rummel steps in, the first pitch. Right in there for a called strike. Rummel batting .259, 29 of 112, 12 runs scored with 5 doubles, a home run, and 15 RBIs on the season.
0 for 2 with a walk.
The 0-1 is a little bit low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Last night.
Alabama's head coach is Patrick Murphy. He's in his 26th season as the Alabama head coach. Alabama head coaching record, 1,265 victories, 363 losses. That one's in there for a strike, 1 and 2. That's .777 winning percentage. Assistant coach Caleb Rowe. Lance McMahon is the pitching coach. Adam Arbor is the hitting coach. Coordinator of player development, Ryan Iamurray. Director of softball operations, Jaden Spencer.
Ribs.
The 1-2 is a ground ball to second. Hevlin has it, throws to second for 1. They can't turn the double play as Rummel beats it out, but gets the lead runner, and there's 1 gone.
Yeah, that was a little clunky. Not quite as smooth as some of the other double plays or potential double plays we've seen. Just took Hevlin a second with the runner flashing to get in position. Kind of an awkward turn, but important to get the lead runner if you're going to get anybody there.
So 1 out, runner on first for Angelina DeLeon. First pitch. This is a little inside for ball 1. DeLeon batting .186, 16 of 86, 10 runs scored, 3 doubles, and 10 RBIs.
DeLeon last night, 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. Had been hitting well entering the series.
The 1-0, fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. AC Atinka is the athletic trainer, strength conditioning coach, Michelle Diltz. Nathan Sheehan, sports information. Scott Moyer, the video director. Assistant video director, Lindsey Garcia. Equipment manager is Stu Moore. Brianna Leonard, the sports nutritionist. Kent Gidley is the photographer. The 1-1 in the dirt, 2-1. He's on assignment this weekend.
Where could he possibly be, Tom?
A little basketball game about to tip off in Phoenix in roughly 3 hours. The 2-1. I don't know where it missed. It did. 3-1. For the Rebels, their head coach is Jamie Traxel. She's in her 4th season in Oxford. Assistant coach, Daniel Nicolaisen. The pitching coach is Carl Golan, and the assistant coach, DJ Sanders. That one comes in low for ball 4. And now Ole Miss has runners on first and second with 1 out. And this was an issue against Kentucky as Lance McMahon comes out, and he's going to have a word with Jocelyn Brisky. Bottom of the order, batters with not very good batting averages, and Alabama pitchers putting them on, giving them freebies.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to add. Half the free passes for Kentucky last weekend came around to score. But I will say, I have to amend the staff reading. You forgot somebody.
Oh, as per usual.
Team dog, Finley Traxel for Ole Miss, of course.
For Ole Miss, right, yes.
who is not here. She has cousins in town and is staying in Oxford. That's
Wow.
what Coach Traxel told us on the call. That was my first question.
Family visiting. Couldn't leave.
Couldn't make it.
Wow.
But shout out to Finley. I hope she's having a nice Cheerio.
Now Ryan Starr will step in. Runners on first and second, one out. Starr left-handed hitting shortstop. Made ESPN top plays on SportsCenter this morning. First pitch is high and tight for ball one for the just outstanding diving catch she made yesterday against Riley Valentine.
Took us all off guard. Thought that was a base hit, but alas.
The 1-0. Slap foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. My call, it was delayed for a moment because I wasn't sure if she caught it to start off with.
Well, no one really reacted.
Right.
Didn't get the hype-up response from Jaden Pone and left that I thought, at least immediately. I think everybody was trying to double-check. Did she catch it? Yes, okay.
The 1-1. Starr holds off on the bunt. It's outside, 2-1. Alabama in the all-crimson uniforms today. The crimson jerseys with white script Bama across the chest. Crimson pants and crimson socks. Ole Miss going with the all-white unis. The 2-1 is popped up and foul ground. It will get out of play back behind the Bama dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. White jerseys with script Rebels across the chest in red. White pants, white socks with red, white, and blue stripes. The 2-2. That's in there for a called strike 3. Starr is down on strikes. And there is 2 gone, and that tied strikeout, like Alabama strikeouts, brought to you by Barclay GMC of Tuscaloosa. For over 42 years, Barclay makes it easy. Online at barclaygmc.com.
Jamie Traxel came down wondering, did she go? I think that was kind of a little ploy to try and,
Well, she didn't go.
complain
That's not
about
a
the
strike.
zone. But it was a strike. That was just under the letters, upper part of the zone, but a strike.
Now Jayla Lassiter steps in. The first pitch to her is high for ball 1. Lassiter's 0 for 1, grounded out in the top of the first inning. We're playing the top of the second, 4-0 Alabama, but Ole Miss threatening once again with runners on first and second. The 1-0. Line, and that's going to be foul down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But this is now becoming a pretty big trend in this series. Like I said, there's now been 1 inning all weekend where Ole Miss has not had a runner in scoring position, but still hitless RISP so far. Now, if you're the Rebels, you've got the right person up, but it's been an issue.
The 1-1 is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Rummel's on second. DeLeon on first. There's 2 outs, a 2-1 count to Lassiter. The pitch is a high chopper to third. Dowling has it. Will throw across the diamond to get the out and retire the side. And once again, Bama strands 2 Ole Miss runners here in the inning.
Bailey Dowling might have made the second easiest play on that because I think she could have just turned and gone to third and probably into the inning fairly quickly. But good throw to get the speedy Lassiter, and man, the trend just continues. Ole Miss now in this series, a pretty stunning 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. It's really hard to win, let alone score, when you're doing that. And Alabama, to their credit, is doing a nice job making sure they can't cash in on those chances.
Switch situational hitting, but also situational pitching.
Correct.
For the Rebels here in the second, no runs on a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We head to the home half of the second. 4-0 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
20 seconds.
Copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Alabama. Reuse of
10.
presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the university and Learfield. Announcers are provided by Learfield and approved by the university.
Kinley Cahalan to lead things off for the Tide as we head to the home half of the second inning. Alabama with a 4-0 lead over Ole Miss. Here comes the first pitch to Cahalan. It's high. 4-1. Cahalan singled in the first inning when Alabama sent 10 batters to the plate and scored 4 runs. Facing Brandon Lopez, now out for our first full inning of relief. That's in there for a strike, 1-1. The second inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. The 1-1. Cahalan waves and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alabama softball's upcoming schedule brought to you by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. The 1-2 pitch, fouled away. The series finale between the Tide and the Rebels coming up tomorrow. 1:20 the airtime, 1:30 the first pitch here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It'll just be me again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be next door. But, you know, watch and then mute me and listen to Tom, as many of you probably do.
The 1-2. Cahalan fouls it back. We'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kaylee Tao, who made her, I don't know if it's her debut, but she was on SportsCenter this morning because you could hear her underneath their call
really?
of the star catch.
Hey, Miss Tao.
Yes.
She's on the wall.
The 1-2 in the dirt, 2-2. Is that brought up during the broadcast?
Sometimes, if we talk about Tao's playing experience, typically the camera will flash over to her position on the wall, and then I'll mention, 3-time All-American, etc.
Right.
I'm merely Gray Robertson.
Lopez looks in. The 2-2 pitch to Cahalan. Swing and a miss, strike 3 as she got fooled by the off-speed, and there's 1 gone.
Lopez is really effectively using that changeup. It's got a lot of bite, too. I mean, that thing sinks out of his zone. Cahalan is not horribly out in front, but because of the down movement, that's where the swing and miss came.
So 1 out now for Jenna Johnson, who was hit by a pitch, and she came around to score in the first inning, and now Lexi Brady calling out Coach Golan, and I'm not sure what the issue is, but he just struck out Alabama's hottest hitter. What are we confused about?
I thought for a second it might be a pitch com scenario. Ole Miss is using something different than Alabama does, where they've got what looks like the wristband, but then there's a power button on it. So I assume that means it is something electronic.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how that equipment works. I know how Alabama's does, but I think that was just a strategy session, or maybe something was bothering Lopez. I don't know.
So Jenna Johnson will step in now. And the pitch from Lopez is low for ball 1. Earlier today on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, Bama baseball, as you mentioned, didn't go particularly well in Lexington. Kentucky got a 7-0 win over the Tide.
Can we just never play in Lexington any sport ever again?
Don't really like it. The 1-0 inside, 2-0 on Johnson. So Kentucky wins the series, but Alabama will look to salvage one tomorrow. And, of course, in about 40 minutes here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, Alabama men's basketball in the Final Four. The 2-0, low, 3-0. 6:30 the airtime. 7:49 is the scheduled tip for Alabama and UConn. Chris Stewart, Brian Pasick, Tom Stipe in Glendale, ready to bring it to you. The 3-0. Called strike, 3-1. And the one big positive of us having to drive back from Lexington on Saturday, was getting to listen to that Elite Eight game with Chris. The 3-1 is high and tight for ball 4.
Well, that was really the first time in a long time where I've actually sat and listened to the basketball game, because typically either I'm there
we're working
or we're working.
Yeah, right.
And so it was really fun to get to hear that and, openly weep on the highway. It was great. A great time.
Driving through downtown Birmingham, like, eyes on the road, Gray.
I was watching the road. I just couldn't see through the tears of joy.
Callie Hevlin steps in. The first pitch is high for ball 1. Hevlin had an RBI single her first time up, came around to score during the Alabama 4-run first inning. The 1-0. I think that ended up coming over the plate, but it missed the target, and I think it fooled Philip Freels. We'll take it, 2-0.
That was a good pitch. I'm a little confused about the zone, which is super fun.
Yeah, it's always easy for everyone. The 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1.
I will say as well, Miss Lopez in the circle, I don't think wants us to make the basketball game. We're taking a minute on these pitches.
She's the opposite of Jocelyn Brisky. The 2-1. That bunt is popped foul. 2-2 as Evelyn tried to sneak a bunt down the first base line there.
Well, I like the move. I like doing that against lefty pitchers because they have to do the whole 360 turn on the throw, but unfortunately it was kind of the wrong pitch. That was an upstairs curveball.
The 2-2. Evelyn fouls it away. We'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Great. It's time for a scoreboard update brought to you by the Out of the Box Podcast. Check out the latest episode of the Out of the Box Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a follow at @outofthebox_pod on the X. We also picked WrestleMania matches.
True.
The 2-2. Evelyn with a fly ball to right field. Coming up and making the catch is Furbush. And there's 2 away. Our Out of the Box off topic. Dropped a couple of days ago. Me, a big wrestling fan, you watch one show a year when I make you.
Yes. When you make us wait an extra day to leave a city. Which is, if I had 2 nickels for every time that's happened, I'd only have 2 nickels.
2 nickels,
but
yeah.
It's happened a lot.
Bailey Dowling steps in. The first pitch hits the outside corner for a called strike.
Just botched that phrase. I totally messed that up, but you get it, people at home.
Also, check out the all-new It Just Means More Softball SEC podcast from Softball America featuring Gray and myself. Live on YouTube Monday evenings at 6. That's outside 101. Like, subscribe, and share all of that. Although I'm not sure if people want to come on the show anymore.
Will we ever have another guest?
The jinx has been working, unfortunately.
Are we the new Sports Illustrated cover? Perhaps.
The 1-1 on a hit and run. Went too far around on the swing. It was in the dirt, but taking second on the stolen base is Johnson. Her second of the weekend, third of the season.
I mean, everybody is laughing right now because, that's the pitch. That's just tough luck.
Yeah.
Easy steal for Jenna, though, to get to second.
Now she's in scoring position, but a 1-2 count on Dowling. That's a ground ball foul down the first base line. We'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So, Gray, lots of stuff happening. We've had a lot of finals even before the game got started here today. And just a topsy-turvy weekend in all of SEC softball. I'm glad we're doing an SEC softball podcast where we predict things.
Get them all wrong.
Because it is the most unpredictable season I can remember in SEC softball.
Well, and I'll also announce the plan for the pod this week because it is in a way a plan, but also very much determined by what happens tonight in
Correct.
Phoenix.
Yes. In flux, as they say. The 1-2. Dowling chops this one foul down the third baseline.
So if men's basketball wins tonight, all the stuff will be moved back in the week.
Yeah.
Because the national championship will be on Monday.
We're going to be watching that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If UConn wins, then on Out of the Box, our guest will be Amanda Scarborough after she calls Georgia, Tennessee this weekend. And on It Just Means More Softball, TBD.
1-2. Dowling with a ground ball through for a base hit into right field. Johnson rounds third. Here comes the throw from Furbush. It's not in time. And that's an RBI single for Bailey Dowling. She goes opposite way and gives the Crimson Tide a 5-0 lead.
Well, it's a really good adjustment. This is in the other batter's box for Bailey Dowling. It's not quite a pure changeup, but it's definitely an off-speed curve. It's coming in maybe at 60, maybe 59, and Dowling just flings the bat out there. That one had eyes, got past Smith and De Leon on the right side of the infield, and Patrick Murphy was a full send to Jenna Johnson. Really good to see Alabama follow up that first inning with something, even though they were clearly off balance from that off-speed pitch by Lopez.
Now Kinley Pate will come in to run for Dowling on first. With 2 outs, Abby Dukeshire will step in. Duke is 0 for 1, had an RBI fielder's choice her first time up.
Get to actual scores once this at-bat begins for Abby Dukeshire.
First pitch. Outside for ball 1.
All right, let's go to finals. Another reason why we're going to talk to Scarborough, our dear pal, because they've got a rubber match on Rocky Top tomorrow. Georgia won game 2 today, 3-2 over Tennessee.
1-0. Duke takes it low, 2-0. Have we had any clarification on Kiki Malloy?
Not yet. I've heard that it was something that happened in practice, and it's not going to be a long-term thing. She might be back next week, but tough time to have your best player out.
It's not when you want it to happen, for sure. The 2-0, Dukeshire with a ground ball to third is stopped, and the throw is in time from Rummel to get Dukeshire and retire the side. That was a nice play, keeping it fair and making the snag by Rummel to get the out.
But good to see the offense, again, add a little bit. It starts with the free pass that Jenna Johnson got, and then Bailey Dowling, a really high-quality at-bat, fighting away changeups and finding the right pitch to add another run here in this game.
For the Tide here in the second, 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left on base. We played 2. It's 5-0 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Along with my broadcast partner, Gray Robertson, and apparently wrestling fan, studio engineer Kelly Jackson, I'm Tom Canterbury. Welcome back to Alabama softball here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We head to the top of the third inning, 5-0 Alabama. And the third inning is presented by Bojangles. Download the new Bojangles app and bring the flavor to your next softball tailgate with chicken, biscuits, and fixings, all by ordering ahead on the convenient Bojangles app. It's bow time, y'all. Due up for Ole Miss here in the third inning. It'll be Pone, Brady, and Furbush. 2-3-4 against Jocelyn Brisky back out in the circle for the Crimson Tide, who scored 4 in the first and 1 the second for their 5-0 lead. And things have been relatively normal so far here today. It's been good for Alabama, and here to keep that up, I turn things over to my partner, Gray Robertson.
Thank you for the cushion.
Yeah, I do what I can.
Well done. And Jamie Traxel currently chatting with Chucky and Danielle on the TV broadcast. So let's get to some more scores while we wait. Kookiness in Fayetteville, Missouri run rules Arkansas 12-3.
What?
Arkansas has now given up an average of 7 runs per game in conference play at home.
Also an ID if we can.
Just really weird.
That's crazy. We'll get to more scores in a second. But first, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Still waiting for action to begin, so we'll take a look at Auburn beating Louisiana Tech 5-0. And Mississippi State has now shut out South Carolina in Columbia twice. They won game 2 today, 4-0.
Like South Carolina, they came coming off of the sweep of Ole Miss last weekend.
Would have thought. First pitch to Jaden Pone misses high and away for ball 1.
That's what I'm talking about. It's so, like, game to game and week to week, it's so hard to predict what's happening in this conference. Arkansas, as hot as anybody in the league, beat Georgia 2 out of 3 in Athens and now almost gets run-ruled at home by Missouri.
The 1-0 is hit out to center, and Kristen White has an immediate beat on it. She'll make the catch for out number 1 to retire Pone. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the one thing that people can seem to agree on is that Tennessee is really good.
And they lost today.
But, I don't know, they started Charlie Rossini and didn't have Kiki Malloy. So,
yeah,
I don't know why that happened as Lexi Brady steps in. She struck out her first time up. Score from College Station. They're in the top of the 7th. A&M leads Kentucky 10-7, but the Wildcats have a tying run at the plate with the 9-hitter, Borzilleri, at the dish, and Koffel on deck. First pitch to Brady. Skips off home plate and back 1-0.
Yeah, get Koffel up. Borzilleri, do whatever you can.
I mean, if trends follow, she's the 9-hitter. She'll reach.
You're right, yeah. That was the game plan last weekend.
1-0 to Brady. That's in there for a strike, 1-1. Also, bottom of the 6th in Auburn, Georgia Tech leads the Tigers 10-7. 1-1 from Brisky to Brady. That is absolutely smashed, but foul down the left side. 1-2.
Well, the Yellow Jackets had an opportunity yesterday to get a victory over Auburn. Had a 3-0 lead in the 6th, and Auburn scored 4 in the bottom of the 6th to win that one.
1-2 from Brisky. That's low. 2-2. This game is going exactly like I thought. Top of the 5th in Gainesville. No score, LSU, Florida, and only 1 hit total in the game. Rothrock versus Berzon. What a battle. 2-2. Change up. Just misses low. Full count. Nobody on, 1 out. 5-0 Alabama here in the top of the 3rd. Go through some of the national stuff in just a second. Payoff from Brisky. Got her looking. Called strike 3. 2 down here in the 3rd.
Just froze her. It really wasn't a whole lot happening with the pitch.
Yeah. I don't know why she just stared at it, but cool with me. 2 gone for Ansley Furbush, and she will look at the same exact pitch for strike 0-1. An Alabama update. Alabama Gymnastics is off to nationals. A second-place finish in the Ann Arbor Regional. I'm sure Oklahoma won. They're off to Fort Worth. The 0-1 is hit right back to Brisky, who will throw to first to retire Furbush and end the inning. And I'll tell you what, that's a great job by Jocelyn Brisky to make sure Ole Miss didn't answer there. And it's just the second time this weekend the Rebels have not had a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, now like I said, great job because the Rebels have applied pressure almost every inning of this series, and to get them down 1-2-3 and you hold on to that momentum you've gotten from scoring in the first 2 innings.
And we'll see if the offense can add more. Alabama 5, Ole Miss 0, going to the bottom of the 3rd here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
And you're back.
The 3rd inning is presented by Bojangles. Download the new Bojangles app and bring the flavor to your next softball tailgate with chicken, biscuits, and fixings, all by ordering ahead on the convenient Bojangles app. It's bow time, y'all. Tide will have the bottom of the order due up, leading 5-0 here in the bottom of the third. It's Clark, Lauren Johnson, and Valentine against Brianna Lopez in the circle for Ole Miss. Alabama with the 5 runs. They've worked 3 walks, 4 hits. Pretty solid all the way around for the offense, and I think they've done a really nice job being patient. Maybe a couple times they've been fooled by the change, but other than that, I've been pretty impressed. Kendall Clark walked back in the first, like quite a few people did. First pitch from Lopez. Rise high, 1-0.
Roughly 2 hours ago. This is not a very quick-moving softball game.
No, which brings me to the scoreboard update from Phoenix. Halftime. Purdue and NC State. Boilermakers lead it 35-29. Winner to Venatti. The 1-0 to Clark is hit out to center, but Lassiter will get there in plenty of time, and she'll make the catch for out number 1.
I haven't looked, so I am going to guess Zach Edey has 1 foul.
1 foul, correct. 14 points, 8 rebounds. He has played all 20 minutes. I'll give him credit. The man has a motor. He plays like every minute.
Well, he gets all the extra rest when he gets fouled and gets to shoot free throws.
Breathe deeply.
Right.
Lauren Johnson will step in. She had an RBI walk in the first. First batter that Lopez faced, and a first pitch changeup in for a strike, 0-1.
Move over. Wilt Chamberlain, Shaquille O'Neal, everyone else. Zach Edey, the most skilled big man in the history of basketball, to avoiding fouls. Never does it.
It does help when he's 7 inches taller than everyone. The 0-1 is high, 1-1. That's like Ryan Iamurray trying to guard me oftentimes.
But you would foul her if you, like,
I mean, maybe on accident.
Right, yeah. Not even trying.
Poor Ryan. Catching strays. The 1-1 to Johnson. She'll lay down a nice bunt that Smith will field, and coming over to cover first is De Leon for out number 2. That was fairly slick work on short notice by the Ole Miss infield to retire Lauren Johnson.
Yeah, good play all the way around by both the first baseman, Smith and De Leon, coming over to cover. If the bunt had been just a little bit softer, might have had a chance to beat it out, but still good idea and good play over by Lauren Johnson, just better play defensively by Ole Miss.
Now Riley Valentine, she struck out against Lopez her first time up. See what adjustment she makes. She'll take the first pitch low for ball 1. And I will say, in the last inning, I was watching Riley Valentine at the very end of a dugout, and she was mimicking swings, trying to get on time. So see if that little extra in-game work leads to something. 1-0 from Lopez. Change high, 2-0. Tom, I'll give you some national scores.
Is Oklahoma run ruling Texas yet?
No, because it has not started.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So
soon to come.
Coming up next on When the Sooners Crush Everyone. 2-0 to Valentine. Called strike, inner half. 2-1.
That's not my favorite program, by the way.
No, I wish it would have been canceled after season 1. But no, the fans saved it. Florida State came back and beat Louisville today, 8-4. So rubber match tomorrow. Duke run-ruled North Carolina, 8-0. 2-1 to Valentine. Change up for a strike, 2-2. Northwestern staved off Michigan, 8-5. And Virginia Tech smacked NC State, 14-1. Otherwise, pretty much everything that's super important is happening right now or a little later, including, of course, OU Texas. 2-2 from Lopez. Change misses, and Valentine holds off, full count. 5-0 Alabama here in the bottom of the third. Bases clear, 2 outs, and a 3-2 situation for Riley Valentine at the plate. The payoff from Lopez is ripped foul. I'll also say about game 1 of OU Texas, Texas played a little bit better than I thought, and I wonder if that late comeback kind of gives them some momentum today.
Yeah.
Tying run at the plate in the 7th against the Sooners. You'll take it. Another payoff. Ooh, that comes in and hits Valentine, and that
she seems to be okay.
That frustrates her. She will walk to first, but I think everybody at Alabama thought, oh no. Got her right on the fingertips.
On the hand, yeah. on the left hand.
Patrick Murphy had to be thinking, you've got to be kidding me. With
Right.
Marley Giles out 2 to 4 weeks.
Emma Broadfoot, be ready. I believe she is the emergency catcher now.
Yeah, and Kendall Clark was getting some work in at practice as well. So Valentine on first, 2 outs. Here's Kristen White. First pitch from Lopez. White will take it high for ball 1. Oh, wow. Final from College Station. Oh, my goodness. I'll read it all in a second.
Oh, no.
A&M wins 10-9 over Kentucky. 1-0 to White. Misses high again, 2-0. So I guess Koffel was in the 2 spot, so that's my bad. I assume she was leading off. Riley Smith had a 2 RBI single and then was thrown out at second to end the game. Aggies win 10-9.
Oh,
Where was that? The 2-0 misses high and away, 3-0.
could have been nice. Yeah, you can get a hit, but get out on the base paths.
Man, that's such a brutal way to lose. Because Koffel would have been next. I'm
Right.
looking at it now. She was about to be up with a runner on.
She'd have been the go-ahead run.
3-0 to White. That's in there for a strike. 3-1. That's now 2 one-run victories for A&M in that series, and they'll go for the sweep tomorrow. (3-1) to Kristen White is just a little blooper that Lopez will come up and catch to end the inning. White got fooled by the changeup, and then I thought for a minute it might work out in her favor, but Lopez, with pretty good reflexes, came out of the circle and made the catch.
Yeah, I just didn't get very much on that one at all. And like you said, it almost worked out to where she wasn't being able to come up with it, but tracked it down, and Alabama doesn't score for the first time in an inning here in Gray's third inning of chaos.
Just a super boring frame. We'll go to the 4th. Alabama leads Ole Miss 5-0 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The 4th inning is presented by Nukes. At Nukes, your food is always made to order in an open kitchen with the freshest ingredients. Visit them locally on University Boulevard or order online at nukes.com. Nukes is a proud supporter of Alabama softball. Nukes has got to be pretty thrilled today. Alabama leading Ole Miss 5-0 as we go to the 4th. On Barnyard and the Brickyard Day, there were alpacas and goats and sheep earlier for the fans to enjoy, if that's their thing. Due up for Ole Miss. 5, 6, 7, Smith, Orman, and Rummel. It's not my thing. I did not go out there. And Patrick Murphy currently chatting with TV. So, Thomas, I turn it back over to you. Got to be impressed with what Jocelyn Brisky is doing, getting stronger as the game has gone on. And, you know, Ole Miss continues to threaten, but not be able to find anything timely.
Yeah, like we said, you know, you can take a look at Ole Miss's situational hitting. It's not very good, but that means Alabama's situational pitching has been good, and Jocelyn Brisky doing a great job of stranding runners. She's stranded 4 so far for the Rebels through 2 innings. In the 3rd inning, got her first 1, 2, 3 inning. So, like you said, is getting stronger as the game goes along.
All right, I'll pass it back to you, partner. I'm going to keep an eye on all these scores going on around the country and, of course, what's happening here at Rhodes. And maybe I'll go pet an alpaca. I don't know.
Jocelyn Brisky, 3 innings. She's given up 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts, 57 pitches and 32 strikes thrown by Brisky so far here in the ball game. Overall, Alabama 5 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 5 runners left on base. For Ole Miss, no runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 4 runners left on. Paige Smith will lead things off for the Rebels here in the 4th. Smith, Ormond, and Rummel. The first pitch to Paige Smith is low for ball 1. Smith 0 for 1. She popped out her first time up. Senior from Corona, California is Smith, who yesterday pulled off something impressive in her 0 for 4. As that one comes in high, 2 balls and no strikes. She was 0 for 4. She struck out in the first, and in the 3rd, 5th, and 7th innings, she fouled out to the catcher. So 3 really nice catches by Riley Valentine behind home plate. Smith now ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes on Brisky, or from Brisky. The 3-0, right in there for a strike, 3-1. Shadows now covering left field. The 3-1, right in there for a strike again, 3-2. Other portions of the field in shadows, including home plate, third base and second base, a little bit of right field with the tree. The 3-2 is a liner up the middle, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Paige Smith gets her first hit of the weekend, the leadoff single starting off the 4th inning. And that will bring up the designated player, Annie Orman. She singled her first time up.
FGCL. Forgot to say that earlier.
First pitch. Misses high for ball 1. Junior from Myrtle, Mississippi. Valentine's going to go out and have a word with Brisky. Fell down the count against Smith before giving up the single. Bama leads at 5-0 here in the 4th. The 1-0. A little bit low, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, but you can't let your guard down. You know, we've talked about it. Situational pitching has been really good. Ole Miss has had tons of chances, though, and can't let them find belief.
That's right in there for a strike, 2-1. Gray, are you aware of what date it is?
Would you believe me if I said yes?
Well, possibly. Like I said, there's stuff happening. The 2-1 is fouled away, 2-2.
I know it's WrestleMania Night 1
Yes.
because your phone alarm went off in the
did.
2nd inning to remind you of something you definitely did not forget.
That's been in my calendar for roughly a year since they probably announced the date last year.
Was Alabama's Final Four game in there?
No. The 2-2 hits the outside corner, called strike 3. Orman's down on strikes, and there's one gone.
Man, this is such a good location from Jocelyn Brisky. You know, a little elevated outer part of the zone, trying to nibble the corner that didn't look like it had a ton on it. Kind of looked, yeah, just a curveball in the outer half. Got the call.
Delaney Rummel steps in. The first pitch to her is a little outside for ball 1. Rummel reached on a fielder's choice her first time up. That was Brisky's 4th strikeout of the ball game. But today is April 6th, Gray.
Sure.
The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. And Alabama 9-3 all time on this date, outscoring opponents 53-33. Bama has 3 wins over Ole Miss on this date, looking for their 4th. The 1-1, high, 2-1, as well as a doubleheader sweep over Auburn in 2007. In 2012 on this date, Jen Fenton set the all-time NCAA record for most consecutive stolen base without being caught during a 6-0 win over LSU. The 2-1 is a chopper to third. Dowling thinks about second, but throws to first to get the out. And there's 2 away. Smart play there by Dowling.
Yeah, did everything right again. You know, give the look. There wasn't really a chance to get Smith, so made the easy play. And Now if you're Ole Miss, you're going, well, here we go again. Another runner in scoring position. But I feel like almost every one of them, except maybe two, have come with 2 outs.
Angelina De Leon steps in. The first pitch. It's a little bit low for ball 1. De Leon walked her first time up.
That's the other tough part about that is if you only get really one crack. And that was something I thought Alabama had a few issues with, I think, in the Georgia series. They would get people on and in scoring position, but with 2 outs.
And that one's right in there for a strike, 1-1. Last year on this date, Bama beat South Carolina in 9 innings, 2-1 here in Tuscaloosa. 1-1 pitch. Little outside, 2-1.
What year was that?
I believe that was last year, wasn't it?
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, Kenley Cahill walk-off. Now I remember.
The 2-1 pitch. Back up the middle, and that's going to get down for a base hit. White comes up throwing, and the runner stays at third. Gets past Riley Valentine. Brisky now backing her up, but can't track it down. Ole Miss comes in to score, and De Leon makes it all the way to third.
At first, I was stunned that Jamie Traxel held up Paige Smith at third, and then I don't know how the throw missed the cutoff. Outside pitch, but a little too much over the white. Good piece from De Leon. And then the throw from center field from Kristen White just misses everybody. And Valentine, it had a little side spin on it, couldn't stay in front. Brisky couldn't find it, was rolling around the backstop. Ole Miss finally gets the wrist hit, and unfortunately a lot more thanks to the miscue.
Ryan Starr steps in. The first pitch to her hits the inside corner for strike 1. So it's now 5-1 Alabama. I believe that will go down as a single and then the error to allow the run to score. Maybe trying to decide who to give the error to, because the throw wasn't bad. It just got past Valentine. The 0-1 misses a little outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They have ruled it a throwing error on White.
Yeah.
Kind of a tough break all the way around.
The 1-1 pitch. Fouled off, 1-2.
At the same time, though, just a little bit too sloppy.
Yeah.
On that play. Because, again, Ole Miss had held Smith. She was staying at third. She didn't even really take off for home until she saw the ball kind of kicking around. And that's when she knew she had the time.
The 1-2 pitch. One hopper to second. Hevlin's there, makes the stop in the throw for out number 3 to retire the side. So Brisky minimizes the damage here in the 4th. Ole Miss gets a run, but just the 1, and Bama still leads at 5-1.
Yeah, fairly good job to get Starr there. You don't want to let Jayla Lassiter have a chance when for the first time all weekend Ole Miss feels good about something. 1 unearned run, not that bad, but now you have a chance to answer back yourself.
For the Tide here for the Rebels here in the 4th, 1 run on 1 hit. There was 1 error and 1 runner left on base. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error and 1 runner left on base. We move to the bottom of the 4th, 5-1 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Alabama with a 5-1 lead over Ole Miss. Due up for the Tide here in the 4th. Cahalan, Johnson, and Hevlin. 2-3-4 against Brianna Lopez, the second pitcher of the ball game for Ole Miss. The clinically Thermos got the start when a third of an inning gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. Lopez, so far in relief, has gone 2 2/3. 1 hit, 1 run, it was earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts, 62 pitches, and 33 strikes thrown by Lopez so far. Kinley Cahalan will start things off. She's 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. First pitch misses low for ball 1.
It was so interesting seeing Kayla Bro go to the first base coaching box, and she turned and said something pretty forcefully to Kinley. I think Alabama right now is saying, and the coaches are saying, hey, stop messing around. You can put these people away.
The 1-0 in there for a strike, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Cahalan pops it up on the infield. Third base side, now in foul ground, ranging over, making the catch is Starr from short, and there's one away.
Scoreboard update from the Plains. It has gone final. Georgia Tech wins 10-9. Auburn had the tying run on third and the winning run on second, but could not bring her in.
It's too bad.
There were 4 half innings where a run was not scored.
Jeez. I assume Maddie Pinta did not pitch in that game.
She did not.
Jenna Johnson steps in. No official at bat so far today. The first pitch. It's a changeup that drops in for a called strike. Johnson was hit by a pitch and scored in the first, walked and scored in the second.
Also, scoreboard update from Gainesville. LSU leads Florida 1-0, but the Gators have 2 on, nobody out for Corby Otis with Erickson on deck.
The 0-1 misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And from the Final Four, 15:34 left in the game. Purdue leading by 6 still, 39-33 over NC State.
Wolfpack hanging in there. The 1-1. Johnson with a ground ball to short. Starr makes the stop, and the throw is in time, and there's 2 away.
Well, trying to adjust to that changeup and just not able to hit it square. Kind of off the end of the bat again. I think Alabama has had a couple people get on time with it, but not able to square it because typically it's on the outer half. And another example right there from Jenna Johnson.
That brings up Callie Hevlin. 2 out, nobody on. First pitch to Hevlin is in there for a strike. Hevlin 1 for 2 on the day. Had an RBI single and scored in the first and a fly out in the second. The 0-1. Waved at a miss. No balls and 2 strikes now on Hevlin.
Lopez right now is just being really frustrating, I think, for this offense. It's taken a minute for the pitch to come in, and then it comes in, and it takes a year because it's off speed. Even her hard stuff really has barely gotten to 60.
The 0-2. Out in front, swing and a miss, strike 3, and Hevlin down on 3 straight pitches. And the Tide's down in order here in the 4th.
Yeah, didn't like that. I think Callie Hevlin felt the frustration I just voiced and kind of said, I'm just going to attack this, and that was probably not the right plan on an 0-2 that was low and away, and unfortunately Alabama unable to respond.
No runs, no hits, no errors, no runners left. We played 4. It's 5-1 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. fifth inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. Top of the order due up for the Rebels as we head to the top of the fifth inning. Alabama with a 5-1 lead over Ole Miss. Lassiter, Pone, and Brady set to take on Jocelyn Brisky, third time through the order. Alabama 5 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and 5 left. Ole Miss 1 run on 4 hits, 1 error, and 5 runners left on base. 1 change out in the field for the Crimson Tide here in the fifth inning. Emma Broadfoot now at first base, replacing Abby Dukeshire. And Jaylee Lassiter will lead things off. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs on the day.
I have a note on Taco Hot Sauce.
Uh-huh.
Give after this pitch.
First pitch. Lassiter fly ball to shallow center, but coming up and making the catch is White. 1 pitch, 1 gone here in the fifth.
You know, the post-race interviews are real tough. First off, they're out of breath.
Yes.
Second off, it's kind of like how on American Idol back in the day, you know, someone would get eliminated, and Ryan Seacrest would say, "You're going home." But now let's watch a video of all the times when you're actually happy. It seems a little tough.
Jaden Pone steps in, slaps this one to third. Dowling makes a stop in the throw, and quickly there's 2 gone.
Okay. Glad I got my thought quickly out, because
there you go.
Quickly out was Jaden Pone. Well handled by Dowling. Good movement, too, by Broadfoot. She was playing up and had to get back fairly quickly.
Now we'll bring up Lexi Brady. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. First pitch. Right in there for a called strike. Also, they added a degree of difficulty today, with it being barnyard to the brickyard. They had to ride stick horses, in addition to being in costume. Taco Hot Sauce. Called strike, 0-2. Just really difficult all the way around.
That's why I haven't done it.
No.
That and, you know, I'm here.
Working and terribly out of shape are the other reasons why I haven't done it. The 0-2 pitch. High chopper up the middle. Cahalan unable to track it down. Brady beats it out on what will be an infield single. Cahalan almost was able to make the play right in front of second base, but couldn't quite glove it.
Yeah, and even if she does, I don't know if the body control is there or the time, honestly, to make a throw to first to get Brady. Just a perfectly placed little high swinging away slap.
So 2 outs now for Ainsley Furbush, and she fouls that first pitch back for strike 1. Furbush is 0 for 1 with a walk and a ground out. Ole Miss now out hitting Alabama.
Hold on.
But
who's winning?
Yes, but more importantly, Alabama outscoring the Rebels 5-1.
You're telling me that matters more?
That's why it's the first column. The 0-1 popped up, foul ground, third base side. Dowling will give it a look, but it will get out of play as everyone covers their heads instead of trying to make the catch. People climbing fences.
I don't think
that's
you
legal.
can be down there.
Yeah.
Security also noticed what I just saw.
Good, yes. The 0-2. Little outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Scoreboard update from Gainesville. Corby Otis had an RBI single and then a 3-run homer from Reagan Walsh. It's now 4-1 Florida over LSU, going to the top of the 7th.
The 1-2 to Furbush. That one's popped up, foul ground, third base side. Dowling ranges back. She holds on to the catch for out number 3 to retire the side. And the 2-out single for Lexi Brady does nothing. And Ole Miss doesn't score here in the 5th.
Yeah, and the Rebels moved to 1-10 in this game. 1-4-10, I should say, with runners on. And now 3 for 22 in the series. Again, just good awareness by Brisky and last night Beaver with people on base throwing some of their best stuff.
For the Rebels in the 5th, no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left. We stretch in Tuscaloosa. Moving to the bottom of the 5th, it's 5-1 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
The fifth inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. Alabama currently leads Ole Miss 5-1 going to that bottom of the fifth. 2 up for the Tide, 5, 6, 7. Dowling, Broadfoot, currently listed. And it looks like she will get a chance with a bat in her hand. And also Kendall Clark facing Brianna Lopez in the circle. Autumn Relief has done a really nice job keeping Alabama's hitters off balance with her changeup. Bottom of the fourth, probably her best inning so far today. But now faces Bailey Dowling, who's 1 for 2, and who has the lone hit off of Lopez. That was an RBI single back in the second. Hit into a fielder's choice and scored in the first. First pitch to BD is a change. Shocker. High. Ball 1. Now the 1-0 from Lopez. Missed a little low, 2-0. Lopez taking her time, Tom.
Yes, she's wanting to do. There's a pitch clock. That one's fouled back, 2-1. Unfazed by it.
You wouldn't know.
Again, we have like the Jocelyn Brisky and the anti-Jocelyn Brisky, because Brisky, I've seen her pitch with as much as 17 seconds still left on the clock.
Yeah.
It's always under 10 with Lopez. The 2-1 is fouled off down the third baseline. 2-2 now on Dowling.
It lulls you to sleep a little bit.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's pretty effective. And I think it's kind of thrown off not just the timing of the swings of the Alabama batters, but just the rhythm overall of what the offense was doing.
Yep. Rhythm of the game. 2-2. Checked her swing, fouled it off. We'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the changeup has been a strike enough to where anytime you see it, if it's close, you've kind of got your hand forced a bit.
The 2-2. Dowling with a fly ball to right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit in front of Furbush. And that's a leadoff single for Bailey Dowling, her second of the day. And Alabama looking to add to the 5-1 lead here in the fifth.
And for those concerned, now both teams even with 5 hits. Bailey Dowling got jammed by the curve here, but got something hard and said, okay, I have to take advantage. And it just plopped down right in front of Furbush out and right.
Now Rodfoot will get her first at-bat of the game after coming in as a defensive replacement at first last inning. First pitch is high for ball 1. Broadfoot on the year, batting an even 200, 9 of 45, 5 runs scored with a double, 2 homers, and 10 RBIs.
0 for 1 last night. 333 career average against Ole Miss.
The 1-0, Broadfoot puts a bunt down the first base line. Smith makes a stop in the throw to get the runner at first, but Dowling moves to second on the sacrifice bunt.
Shout out to Emma Broadfoot executing and doing so quickly, like I'm sure she will try and leave Rhodes to go watch basketball once the game ends. Really nice job to put a runner in scoring position. Like, there is legitimately no bigger Alabama sports fan on this team, I think, than Emma Broadfoot.
Yeah, that was the subject of the Alabama softball tweet this morning. As Kendall Clark steps in, Clark's 0 for 1 with a walk and a fly out. First pitch. And that one's off the end of the bat to second. Stop made. The throw's in time from De Leon. Runner moves to third, but there's now 2 away.
Man, Clark reached hard for that pitch. Not only was it off speed and she was way out in front, but it was also outside. I'm going to credit Lopez for locating her changeup fairly well. There have been very few that have been just down the heart. Most of them have lived on the outer half, and Alabama's batters just have not really been able to square it up.
Lauren Johnson steps in now. Runner on third, 2 outs. First pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. Johnson's 0 for 1, had an RBI walk in the first and a ground out in the third. The 0-1 pitch. Grounded to third. Stop made. The throw is in time from Rummel for out number 3 to retire the side.
Well, I mean, it's working. Lopez, it's the same exact pitch. Change up, outer half. Johnson reached a little bit, not able to square it up. And a lot of credit to Lopez with that off speed. It's working.
For the Tide here in the 5th, no runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We played 5. It's 5-1 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The 6th inning is presented by the Alabama Crimson Tide Game Day Live app. Keep up with everything Alabama with the Alabama Crimson Tide Game Day Live mobile app presented by Cadence Bank. Download it now for free at the App Store and Google Play. We move to the top of the 6th inning. Alabama with a 5-1 lead over Ole Miss. 2 up for the Rebels here in the 6th. Smith, Orman, and Rummel. 5-6-7. Jocelyn Brisky out for her 6th inning of work, and the first pitch of the 6th inning for Brisky will be her 90th of the ball game. 5 runs on 5 hits, an error, and 6 left for Alabama. 1 run on 5 hits, an error, and 6 left for Ole Miss. Paige Smith leading things off. She is 1 for 2 with a pop out, a single, and a run scored. First pitch. Called strike on the outside edge, 0-1.
On the Box Podcast scoreboard update, 8:27 left in Phoenix. Purdue leads NC State 49-40, just keeping the pack at arm's length.
That one's popped up on the infield, first base side and foul ground. And Broadfoot makes the catch, avoiding Paige Smith down the line. And there's one gone. That one not caught by the catcher. That's now 4 times here this series that Paige Smith has fouled out, either back behind home plate or just a little bit down the line. That brings up Annie Orman. First pitch to her. Right in there for a called strike.
And shout out to Riley Valentine as well, having to, as she was trying to track that down before eventually giving way to Broadfoot, avoiding the bat of Smith, which was right in her path.
The 0-1. Another called strike, 0-2.
That's spatial awareness that I just do not have.
No. Just walking down the street, much less trying to track a ball.
You've seen me.
The 0-2 is in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Final from Gainesville. LSU had the tying run at the plate in the 7th, but a strikeout from Keegan Rothrock gives Florida a 4-2 win in Game 1 of that series.
The 1-2. Off speed, ground ball to short. Cahalan ranging to her left, makes the stop in the throw, and there's 2 away.
It's probably one of the more standard plays Kinley Cahalan has had this weekend. It was still pretty darn good. You know, having to move fairly quickly, nearly a full sprint to get that because it was hit well back up the middle, but able to maneuver it and rifle a good throw to Broadfoot.
2 out, nobody on. Delaney Rummel steps in. She lines the first pitch foul down the right field line, 0-1. We were talking basketball. Brings me to last night, Gray. Your thoughts on the offensive foul call at the end of the game between UConn and Iowa?
It was a foul. I hate that it happened. End of list.
Agreed, yes.
But what a natty.
The 0-1 misses inside, 1-1.
You'll be given a lot of scoreboard updates for South Carolina, Iowa tomorrow on ABC. Ratings huge last night from the Iowa-Connecticut game, nearly 15 million.
The 1-1 pitch. And that's a fly ball to right. Lauren Johnson's there. She'll make the catch for out number 3, and the Rebels go down in order here in the 6th.
And similarly to the South Carolina women's basketball team, Jocelyn Brisky continues to get better the more the game goes on. And against a lot of the power bats in this Ole Miss lineup, a lot of weak contact forced by the freshman in the circle.
No runs, no hits, no errors, no runners left for the Rebels here in the 6th. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 5-1 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. (5-1) Alabama as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the 6th inning is presented by the Alabama Crimson Tide Game Day Live app. Keep up with everything Alabama with the Alabama Crimson Tide Game Day Live mobile app, presented by Cadence Bank. Download it now for free at the App Store and Google Play. Valentine, White, and Cahalan due up for the Tide here in the 6th. 9-1-2. Brianna Lopez in the circle for Ole Miss, and we're actually going to have a pinch hitter to start things off here for Alabama in the 6th. Kat Grill will grab a bat and start things off for Alabama.
Yeah, good to see Kat getting a chance here. Hitting .444 on the year, 4 of 9 with a couple RBIs and 4 runs scored. And getting the opportunity. I like this move because, A, Valentine has struggled today, but also Ole Miss, while they've made the plays today, it hasn't been super clean when small ball has been utilized by the Alabama offense. So we'll see if Kat Grill can execute something here in the box. Just her second career at bat against Ole Miss.
Well, Tuscaloosa native Grill steps in. Here comes the first pitch from Lopez. And it's a called strike, 0-1.
I appreciate the fan after that pitch who yelled, "No, you've got to hit it."
Thank you.
Helpful tips.
The 0-1.
Ooh.
Called strike again. No balls and 2 strikes on Grill.
But you do need to swing it, and those are 2 curveballs, 1 off speed, 1 regular, that floated just through the zone running away.
The 0-2. Grill slaps this one into the right field, and that's down for a base hit. So Kat Grill makes the adjustment on the 0-2 and gets a base hit.
Not only did she swing it, she hit it. You know, and that was the same pitch. I don't blame Lopez for going back to it, but like you said, Grill made the adjustment, got the barrel there, and just lofted it right out to right field. Really nicely done by Kat Grill. And now out comes Jamie Traxel. And I bet the question is, was Kat Grill out of the box? The problem is, A, that's not reviewable, and B, what is the box right now?
Right.
Because the chalk line is pretty much gone.
That's what might be the point that Philip Frills is making. Especially to take away a base hit. Like, you would think that you'd have to be pretty significantly out of the box.
Yeah. Like Kristen White last night, as much as I hated that it was called,
It was.
3/4 of the foot was out of the box.
For sure. I'm not sure if Coach Traxel got the answer she was wanting, but she will head back
I
to
mean,
the dugout.
it's, yeah, by rule, she's out of the box. It's not.
A couple of toes.
It's not egregious.
No. First pitch to Kristen White. Puts a bunt down and pops it up foul. Back behind home plate, and Brady wasn't able to do the do-si-do around Philip Frills to make the catch, 0-1.
Boy, Philip Friel's just
in the way all the time.
man's just trying to call balls and strikes.
Trying
and
to do his job.
things keep happening.
The 0-1. Missed a little outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Murph goes through the signs. And a significant delay here. Will the pitch be thrown in time? It wasn't, but no call. Foul ball, I believe. Grill was still second, but they did call a foul on the bunt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But the pitch clock hit 0 before Lopez threw the pitch.
Well, all right, so I can actually explain that because I talked to an umpire friend. It's not when is the pitch thrown, it's when is the disengage. So when does the motion begin? That's when technically a violation would occur.
The 1-2, low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I don't know if that happened before the 0 either, but
it was close. I think it was 2 to 3. I don't know why that took so long.
It seemed to take just forever.
Yeah.
So one thing the pitch clock has it's trained everyone very, very quickly. The 2-2, slap foul. We'll do it again, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I joke with my TV partner, Kaylee Tao, because you remember she would have those long at-bats, and it'd be another 3-2, another 3-2. She'd foul it off and go on the long walk and do the marking in the dirt. That can't happen anymore.
No.
And so you see hitters now, they'll take maybe 2 steps out of the box, and that's pretty much it, because they know they have to be back in when 10 seconds is on that clock or they get called for a violation.
The 2-2. That one is slapped to second. DeLeon makes a stop in the throw to get White. Grill moves to second, and there's 1 gone.
Yeah, too slow for DeLeon to look at Cat Grill go into second. Again, just Alabama just not hitting it well off of Lopez. It's very spinny, very slow, but continually giving themselves chances. Now they just need something to, add to that lead and feel good with this one close to ending.
Kinley Cahalan steps in. The first pitch is high for ball 1 to Cahalan. She's 1 for 3, singled in the first, struck out in the second, and had a foul out in the fourth. Now Lopez has done a much better job than Clethermis did of keeping Alabama off balance. The 1-0 is low, 2-0. And one of Alabama's primary goals every game is to chase the starting pitcher early if possible. And Alabama did that in the first inning, but you also have to adjust to the new pitcher when she comes in.
Right.
The 2-0. Cahalan holds off on the swing, but it's in there for a strike, 2-1.
And now maybe the good thing about all this is Lopez is nearing 100 pitches. And like I talked about, only 1 start this year, so she's been the most effective so far this weekend, but the odds of her starting game 3, I would say, are pretty darn low.
The 2-1 is a called strike, 2-2. Two pitch is high and away, 3-2. Yeah, looking at the pitching staff for Ole Miss, we haven't seen Caitlin Riley yet.
I would assume she'll start.
Clethermis certainly didn't throw very many. She'd be able to start tomorrow too, but wasn't very successful today. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3, Cahalan chased ball 4 and strikes out for the second out of the inning.
That time she was genuinely fooled by the changeup. And I don't know, just feels like a lot of really impatient at-bats by this offense.
So 2 outs, runner on second for Jenna Johnson. 0 for 1 on the day with a hit by pitch, a walk, 2 runs scored. First pitch, Johnson with a fly ball to right. That's going to be caught. Chasing it down in right field. is Orman, excuse me, for out number 3 to retire the side. I thought off the bat that one had burned her.
Yeah, me too. You know, Orman a little slow on the first step, but caught up to it. And, man, I will, give a lot of credit to Jenna Johnson waiting on that off-speed pitch. That was actually a pretty patient at-bat, even though it was an attack on the first pitch. But, unfortunately, well played out and right by the Rebels.
For Alabama here in the 6th, no runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the 7th inning, and the last chance for Ole Miss. It is Alabama 5, Ole Miss 1 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The 7th inning is presented by Tuscaloosa Ford. We'd like to thank Tuscaloosa Ford for providing transportation for the Crimson Tide Sports Network to all this season's away games. Visit Tuscaloosa Ford for your next vehicle purchase. Roll Tide with Tuscaloosa Ford. We head to the top of the 7th inning, the last chance for Ole Miss. Alabama with a 5-1 lead over the Rebels, looking to win their first conference series of the year is the Crimson Tide. DeLeon, Starr, and Lassiter due up for the Rebels here in the 7th. Brisky looking to get a complete game. First pitch to Angelina DeLeon is a fly ball, deep short, and now unable to make the catch is Johnson. And taking second is DeLeon on a pop-up double. Off the bat, looked like Cahalan was calling for it, said she had it, and then gave way at the last second.
Yeah, I thought so too. She is calling off Jenna Johnson. She's got the arm out, she's tracking it, and then for whatever reason backed off at the last minute, and Jenna seems surprised.
Jamie McKay will ground this ball to third. Dowling looks back the runner, throws to first to get the out, and there's one gone.
But, it's just to put a runner in scoring position.
Well, that seems they have to do that.
Yeah, they have to do that like every inning.
McKay was pinch hitting for Ryland Starr. And now back to the top of the order, and Jalia Lassiter. Lassiter's 0 for 3 with a couple of ground outs and a fly out. First pitch, low for ball 1.
And the doors are open at Coleman Coliseum. Our friends at the SEC Network just showed people finding their seats.
Don't take our seats.
Oh, they can't. Delaney's got us.
The 1-0 is low. 2 balls and no strikes on Lassiter.
I mean, look at this. Look at all these folks coming in, shakers and whatnot, jerseys, etc.
If you can't be in Glendale, that's the place to be. The 2-0 is popped up, foul ground back behind home plate. Valentine settles underneath it. She'll make the catch for out number 2, and the Rebels are down to their final out.
Man, Jayla Lassiter now has come up in the 7th inning with a runner in scoring position twice this weekend, and both times unable to execute a strikeout and a pop-up and foul ground. Great job by Brisky getting the Rebels' best hitter.
Last chance for the Rebels is Jaden Pone, and the first pitch to her is high for ball 1. Pone 1 for 3 with a single, a fly out, and a ground out. Crowd here at the Rhodes House to their feet. The 1-0 pitch. Pone fouls it away. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch from Brisky. Hit the outside corner for a called strike, and the Rebels down to their final strike. The 1-2. Pone with a ground ball on one hop to first. Broadfoot makes the stop, steps on the bag for out number 3, and that will do it. Your final score, Alabama 5, Ole Miss 1.
I'm surprised Emma Broadfoot is not just running straight to the clubhouse to go get ready for basketball. Seems kind of fitting that she would be the one to get the final out. Really good win, important to win the series, and, it's such an odd game. It's a comfortable result, but the game was not very comfortable. And, you put up the big number early. You did just enough the rest of the way. Brisky was spectacular. The defense was pretty solid. But Ole Miss did some things that made Alabama uncomfortable today, and they'll need to go back to the drawing board just a little bit and make a few more adjustments just in case they see Lopez again tomorrow.
With the win, Alabama improves to 28-8 overall, 5-6 in conference play, and they win their first SEC series of the year. Ole Miss falls to 21-17, 3-11 in the SEC. The winning pitcher is Jocelyn Brisky. She's now 6-1 on the year. She got the complete game victory. McKenna Clee-Thermos takes a loss. She's now 10-5. We'll take a timeout, come back with the Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa post-game report as Bama wins Game 2 and wins the series by a final score of 5-1 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Located on the UA campus just across from Coleman Coliseum, visit the Bryant Museum, open every day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., except Mondays. Access online at bryantmuseum.com. It's the Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa post-game report as Alabama gets a 5-1 win over Ole Miss to win the series. They'll go for a sweep tomorrow over the Rebels. Alabama, 5 runs on 6 hits, 1 error, and 7 runners left on base. Ole Miss, 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error, and 7 runners left on base. Bama now 28-8 overall, 5-6 in the conference. Ole Miss 21-17 overall, 3-11 in SEC play. And Gray, was a game, as you mentioned, the Tide got up to that 5-0 lead, scoring 4 in the first inning. And then, the game itself kind of got out of rhythm. A lot of that was because of what Brianna Lopez was doing in the circle for Ole Miss. But it was a game where Alabama had it comfortably the whole entire time, but really probably doesn't feel like they played their best in the last few innings of the game.
Yeah, like I said, it's just such a weird game to evaluate because the results is comfortable. This game was never really ever in doubt after the first inning. But at what moment after the second inning would you say Alabama truly felt comfortable? Maybe a couple of the 3-up, 3-down innings from Jocelyn Brisky, but otherwise, Rebels kept putting people on base and in scoring position, and Alabama kept getting people on base and moving them and advancing runners, but not being able to add to the total. So it's one of those that I think coaches like, I would say, because it's a game where you won, but also there's so much you can take away and a lot to learn overall for Alabama.
That being said, as we talk about during Off the Wall on the Alabox podcast, not going to complain when we win.
That's not our job to do that. That's their job.
Yes.
And not your job, people at home. Let the coaches worry about that.
Very excited to come away with the victory and have a chance to pull the sweep tomorrow against Ole Miss. We'll take a timeout, come back as we finish up the Alabama softball postgame report with the final stats and our final thoughts before we head to tomorrow's game number 3 right after this. It's the Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa postgame report here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Ground ball, and that's going to stay fair and get thrown away by the first baseman. 2 runs will come in to score. Duxer will take second. Another 3-2 is in the dirt for ball 4. And that's going to be an RBI walk for Lauren Johnson, and it's 4-0 Crimson Tide. 1-2, Dowling with a ground ball through for a base hit into right field. Johnson rounds third. Here comes the throw from Furbush. It's not in time. And that's an RBI single for Bailey Dowling. She goes opposite way and gives the Crimson Tide a 5-0 lead.
And you're back.
Ole Miss played it a run in the 4th, but Alabama would hold on to get the 5-1 victory. And the Crimson Tide claims the series. Will go for a sweep tomorrow against Ole Miss here in Tuscaloosa. Tom Canterbury alongside Gray Robertson here in the Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa post-game report. We want to remind you that in less time than an inning, you could be saving money by applying for a mortgage at AssuranceMortgage.com. Assurance Mortgage is a proud partner of the Crimson Tide. One thing we haven't talked about as much, Jocelyn Brisky goes the complete game victory here today, does not allow an earned run in her 7 innings of work, her first SEC start of her career, and she looked dang good.
Yeah, I think proved that she should be the Game 2 starter going forward. I guess if there's one thing I wish that could have happened, it would have been nice to see maybe Ailey Johnson get an inning or 2, and I think that would have been the case if Alabama had added just a little bit more, but Brisky was pitching so well, and Ole Miss was still kind of sort of within striking distance that it didn't feel right to maybe give them an opening with a pitching change. So I guess if there's one negative that can come up with about the pitching, that would be it. But again, you didn't make the change because Brisky was so good, and kind of did what we saw her do in her only other complete game of the year against Georgia Tech. Give up hits. They had 6 hits today, but do so sprinkled around and really bear down in the big moments. And that's some pretty mature stuff from the freshman.
There were the 6 hits, but only 1 extra base hit, and that was that bloop double to lead off the 7th inning. And unlike yesterday, you had the 4-run lead, but Ole Miss did not bring the tying run to the plate in the 7th inning, so you felt a little bit more comfortable in that 7th inning.
Right, and even though Ole Miss finally got a hit with a runner in scoring position, the only reason that run scored was because of an error.
Right.
So, again, a lot of credit to Jocelyn Brisky for doing what she's been doing, and to the whole pitching staff. An ERA of 0 through 2 games in this conference this year with some of the results we've seen, pretty darn good.
With 6 locations in West Alabama, University Medical Center provides comprehensive health care for you and your family. Call 205-348-1770 for an appointment. Here are the final stats from today's ball game. We'll start with Ole Miss, who falls to 21-17 overall, 3-11 in SEC play. They got 1 run in the 4th inning, 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error, and 7 runners left on base. Jayla Lassiter was 0 for 4. Jaden Pone was 1 for 4. Lexi Brady was 1 for 3. Ainsley Furbush was 0 for 2 with a walk. Paige Smith was 1 for 3 with a run scored. Annie Orman was 1 for 3. Delaney Rummel was 0 for 3. Angelina De Leon was 2 for 2 with a walk. Ryan Starr was 0 for 2. Jamie McKay was 0 for 1. In the circle, McKenna Cleathermos was the losing pitcher. She got the start. She is now 10-5 on the year. She went a third of an inning. 3 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. 28 pitches, 13 strikes thrown by Cleathermos. And Brianna Lopez went the final 5 2/3 innings. 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. 98 pitches and 59 strikes thrown by Lopez. Lopez was really good in relief for the Rebels, but Alabama got all they needed against Cleathermos.
Yeah, kind of did Lopez, that is, what Brisky was able to do, where, she gave up base runners, but kind of kept Alabama off balance and didn't let those base runners really lead to anything with a changeup. That being said, Alabama was clearly very ready for Cleathermos. The plan was excellent. They weren't chasing. They were putting the right pitches in play. And once again, Alabama wins after scoring in the first inning. Now 14-0 when that occurs.
For the Crimson Tide, they're now 28-8 overall with a win, 5-6 in SEC play. 4 runs in the first and 1 the second for their 5 runs on 6 hits, 1 error, and 7 runners left on base. Kristen White was 1 for 3 with a run scored. KJ Haney was 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Kinley Cahalan was 1 for 4. Jenna Johnson was 0 for 2 with a walk, a hit by pitch, and 2 runs scored. Callie Hevlin 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Bailey Dowling 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Abby Duxer was 0 for 2 with an RBI. Emma Broadfoot had a sacrifice bunt in her lone plate appearance of the day. Kendall Clark was 0 for 2 with a walk. Lauren Johnson was 0 for 2 with an RBI and a walk. Riley Valentine 0 for 1. Kat Grill was 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Jocelyn Brisky gets a complete game victory. She's now 6-1 on the year. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. It was unearned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts, 107 pitches, 66 strikes thrown by Brisky. Time of the game, 2 hours and 1 minute. Your attendance, 4,111. The best softball fans in the country were here. It was a great crowd and a great day. Alabama gets the 5-1 win.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one positive of Lopez kind of keeping Alabama off balance, is that this game ended remarkably in only 2 hours and 1 minute.
The exact same length of yesterday to the minute. It was 2 hours and 1 minute yesterday.
I don't know how that's possible, but here we are. What a time. I mean, I really liked a lot of the stuff today. Lopez kept Alabama off balance, but then you had some people make adjustments. Bailey Dowling, both hits were off Lopez. Kat Grill did a nice job. I thought, we saw some pretty solid at-bats from Callie Hevlin. Weird day for Kinley Cahalan. The hit was really good and then was totally bamboozled. A lefty changeup, though, pretty tough for a left-handed hitter.
Yeah.
Jenna Johnson got on base. Kristen White, again, continues to get on base as the leadoff. And a lot of things to like about today. Again, it was a comfortable result. Alabama felt uncomfortable a lot, but they were still able to find a way to win because of that big number that they put up in the first inning and because Jocelyn Brisky was pretty darn good in the circle.
Gray's final thought brought to you by DCH Health System. DCH Health System has been providing quality and compassionate health care in West Alabama for nearly 100 years. DCH is a champion for your health and proud supporters of the Crimson Tide. Gray, your final thought before we wrap things up and get ready for history.
Is there something happening later?
Yes, in just a little while.
All right, one scoreboard update, and then I'll go into it. Purdue is in a national championship for the first time since 1969. Amazingly, a 63-50 win over NC State. So congrats to the Pack.
The revenge tour can continue.
Yeah. Alabama, Connecticut coming up in about 30-ish minutes. Also, shout out to Purdue NC State for being on time.
Yeah,
which
how about
I
that?
feel like never happens. Alabama's got to be ready tomorrow. You've got a chance to sweep with what's happening around the conference. Alabama is putting themselves back into a pretty good position with what's gone on this weekend.
Got to pick up wins, though.
They're about to play a team that is going to be super desperate. You read the overall record for Ole Miss, 21-17. We're getting into literal must-win situation for Ole Miss because they want to make the NCAA tournament, but to do that, they have to be above 500.
The resume is good enough to make it.
The resume is good enough to make it. The metrics like them, but they know they can't keep getting swept. And so I think we're going to see Ole Miss play probably with as much fire as we've seen in a long time. If they don't, that's another conversation that we'll have to talk about on the podcast. But
Alabama doesn't care about that.
That's right. Yeah. I'm just saying that's
for sure.
a different thing.
Yeah.
Alabama's got to be ready, though, to take Ole Miss's best shot because I would be fairly surprised if the Rebels don't play really well tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see what the pitching matchup looks like. My guess is it'll be Caitlin Riley, but options abound. And for Alabama, probably going to be Beaver. Can she continue to do what she did well in Game 1? I think Alabama's done a lot of things right this weekend, and you've got a chance to sweep this year in this conference. Those are more valuable than ever before. You cannot miss that opportunity, and I hope that everyone sleeps well tonight after, hopefully, Tide Hoops does something a little special.
That's going to do it for this broadcast. The Bama Softball Postgame Report brought to you by Fast Signs. Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa. It's more than fast and more than signs. Request a free quote from Fast Signs for all your business visibility needs. Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa is a proud supporter of Crimson Tide Softball. The Vice President and General Manager of the Crimson Tide Sports Network is Jim Carabin. Our CTSN live booth cam producer is Ethan Carabin. And our studio engineer has been Kelly Jackson. For Gray Robertson and everyone here at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, I'm Tom Canterbury saying thank you for joining us as Bama gets the 5-1 win over Ole Miss. Tuning in tomorrow for the series finale between the Tide and the Rebels. First pitch is set for 1:30. We'll be on the air at 1:20. Until then, roll Tide from Tuscaloosa.